The city was busy that afternoon. Cars moved fast on the road, people hurried across the streets, and the sound of voices filled the air. In the middle of all this noise, there was a small cafe. Inside, the smell of fresh coffee mixed with soft music playing in the background. Anna sat near the window, her hands wrapped around a warm cup. She was in her mid-20s, with tired eyes that carried the weight of many sleepless nights. Life had not been easy for her. She had lost her job 2 months ago, and every interview ended in disappointment. Bills were waiting, rent was late, and she felt the world was against her. That day, she stared out of the window, thinking about her struggles. People outside looked so happy, but for Anna, happiness seemed like a faraway dream. She whispered under her breath, "Why is life always so unfair to me?" At that very moment, the cafe door opened. A man stepped inside. He looked simple, almost ordinary. His clothes were plain, not stylish or expensive. His shoes were a little dusty, as if he had walked a long way. No one in the cafe paid much attention to him, except Anna. He walked quietly to the counter, ordered a coffee, and then looked around for a seat. Almost every table was full. The only empty chair was near Anna. With a small smile, he approached her table. "Excuse me," he said politely, "may I sit here?" Anna looked at him. In her mind, she quickly judged him. He looked like someone without money, someone with no success. Frustration was already burning inside her, and now this stranger was asking to sit with her. She sighed loudly and replied, "Do whatever you want." The man did not seem offended. He gently placed his cup on the table and sat down. For a while, silence hung between them. The man seemed calm, almost peaceful. He looked out of the window the same way Anna had been looking earlier. But Anna's anger grew. She thought, why is someone like him sitting here? He probably has no job, no future, and he dares to share my table? She leaned forward and said sharply, "You know, some people should understand where they belong. Sitting here won't change anything for you." The man turned his face toward her. There was no anger in his eyes. Instead, there was only kindness. He gave a small smile and softly replied, "Sometimes, where we sit doesn't matter. What matters is what we carry in our hearts." His words surprised Anna for a moment, but her pride stopped her from showing it. She rolled her eyes and muttered, "Whatever." The man quietly sipped his coffee, not saying another word. His calmness only made Anna more restless. She wanted him to react, to argue, but he didn't. It felt strange. Minutes passed, and Anna pulled out her phone, pretending to be busy. But deep inside, she kept thinking about what he said. What we carry in our hearts. What did he mean by that? Outside, rain began to fall. People rushed to find shelter, but inside the cafe, the atmosphere was warm. Anna tried to ignore the man, but her curiosity slowly grew. Who was he? Why did he not get angry when she insulted him? Her mind whispered, maybe he is just some poor man trying to survive, just like me. But then, why do his eyes look so calm, like he has no worries? She shook her head and stood up suddenly. Grabbing her bag, she said coldly, "Enjoy your coffee, stranger. I don't have time for this." The man looked up, nodded politely, and replied with the same gentle smile, "Take care of yourself." Anna walked out of the cafe, her heart beating fast. She felt strange, almost guilty, but she pushed the feeling away. Why should I care about someone like him? She told herself. Yet as she stepped into the rain, a thought kept chasing her. Who was that man? And why did his simple words feel so heavy? The cafe door closed behind her, but destiny had just opened another door. That was not the last time Anna would see the stranger. In fact, it was only the beginning. The rain had stopped, and the city lights reflected on the wet streets like broken glass. Anna walked quickly, her umbrella dripping water. She kept telling herself to forget about the strange man in the cafe, but his words would not leave her mind. What we carry in our hearts. She shook her head. Why am I even thinking about him? She whispered. He's just a random stranger. But destiny had other plans. The next morning, Anna went to the bookstore. Reading was her only escape from her problems. She wandered through the aisles, touching the covers of novels she could not afford to buy. Suddenly, she froze. At the corner of the store, sitting with a book in his hands, was the same man from the cafe. Her eyes widened. What is he doing here? He wasn't looking at her. He was fully lost in the pages of his book. The same calm smile rested on his face, like nothing in the world could bother him. Anna's chest tightened. A voice inside her said, "No, this can't be a coincidence." She quickly turned her face away and moved to another aisle. She tried to focus on the books, but every few seconds, her eyes slipped back toward him. He looked so simple, yet there was something unusual about his presence. After a few minutes, Anna left the store. But as she stepped outside, she saw him again. He was walking in the same direction as her. Her heart raced. Is he following me? She thought. Fear mixed with curiosity. For the next few days, Anna kept seeing him, at the park, near the bus stop, even in the small grocery store where she bought milk. He never approached her, never spoke a single word, but he was always there, like a silent shadow. Sometimes he smiled politely when their eyes met. Sometimes he just looked away, as if giving her space. But to Anna, it felt strange and suspicious. One evening, Anna sat on a park bench, hugging her coat against the cold breeze. She saw children playing, couples walking hand in hand, and old men feeding birds. And then, at the far end of the park, she saw him again. He was helping an old woman carry her bags. He bent down, spoke kindly to her, and walked with her until she reached the park gate. Anna watched quietly. There was no pride in his actions, no need for attention. He simply helped and then walked away, as if it was natural for him. A question grew louder in Anna's mind. Who is this man really? Why is he always around me? She wanted to confront him, to demand answers. But at the same time, something inside her hesitated. His calmness, his kindness, it was different. Unlike anyone she had met before. Later that night, lying in her small apartment, Anna stared at the ceiling. She replayed all the moments in her head, his first words in the cafe, his quiet presence at the bookstore, his kind smile in the park. Why do I feel like he's everywhere? She whispered to herself. And why do I feel guilty for the way I treated him? She turned on her side, pulling the blanket close, but sleep refused to come. The image of the stranger's calm eyes haunted her thoughts. The next day, she decided she had enough. She would not stay silent anymore. When she saw him again, standing near the fountain in the city square, she walked straight toward him. Her steps were fast, her heart beating louder than the noise of traffic. Why are you following me? She demanded, her voice sharp. The man looked at her, surprised but not offended. He gave the same gentle smile and said softly, I am not following you. We just happen to be at the same places. Anna crossed her arms. Do you expect me to believe that? I've seen you everywhere these past few days. The bookstore, the park, even near my home. Why are you always there? He stayed quiet for a moment, then replied, Sometimes life puts people on the same path again and again. Maybe it is not me following you, maybe it is destiny bringing us together. Anna blinked, confused. His words made no sense, yet they carried a weight she could not ignore. She took a step back, frustrated. Stop saying these strange things. If I see you again, I will call the police. The man simply nodded. If that makes you feel safe, do what you must. But remember, not everything is what it looks like. Without another word, he walked away, disappearing into the crowd. Anna stood frozen, her anger mixing with doubt. A part of her wanted to believe he was dangerous, but another part whispered that he was different, someone with a secret too big to guess. As she walked home that night, her mind kept repeating his words. Maybe it is destiny bringing us together. The mystery grew deeper, and Anna knew one thing for certain. This stranger was not ordinary. Something about him was hidden, and sooner or later, the truth would come out. But what that truth was, she could not even imagine. The days passed, but the mystery only grew heavier on Anna's mind. She could not stop thinking about the stranger. His calm voice, his quiet smile, and the strange way he appeared everywhere, it all felt too unusual. One evening, Anna was on her way home from another failed job interview. Her steps were slow, her eyes heavy. The world felt cruel, and she wondered if her life would ever change. She walked past a small street corner where two men were standing and talking. Their voices were low, but one sentence made her freeze. "That's him, the millionaire's son," one man whispered. "He hides his wealth, dresses simply, and lives among ordinary people. He doesn't want the world to know who he really is." Anna stopped in her tracks. Her heart jumped. Millionaire's son. Carefully, she leaned closer, pretending to look at her phone while listening. "Yes," the other man replied. "I heard his family is one of the richest in the city. But he never shows it. He walks around like a common man, helping strangers. People don't know his real name, but those close to him say he's different. He tests people to see who they truly are." Anna's breath caught in her throat. She did not need to ask who they were talking about. Deep inside, she knew. The stranger. The same man she had insulted in the cafe. The same man who kept appearing everywhere. The same man who stayed calm when she treated him with disrespect. Anna's knees felt weak. She quickly walked away, her heart racing. Thoughts clashed inside her mind. How could this be? A millionaire. But he looked so simple, so ordinary. No car, no expensive suit, nothing. She remembered his calm eyes, his gentle words, "What we carry in our hearts matters." It all began to make sense. He wasn't poor. He wasn't wandering without reason. He was testing people, maybe testing her. That night, Anna sat alone in her apartment. She could not eat, could not sleep. Shame burned inside her. She replayed their first meeting at the cafe. She saw herself insulting him, pushing him away, telling him he did not belong. Her eyes filled with tears. "What have I done?" she whispered. For the first time in a long while, Anna felt truly small, not because of her struggles, but because of her pride. The next day, she decided to confirm the truth with her own eyes. She followed the stranger quietly. He did not notice her, or maybe he did and chose not to show it. She watched as he visited an orphanage, carrying boxes of food and clothes. He smiled at the children, sat with them, and told them stories. His laughter was pure, his kindness real. Anna's heart ached. This man has everything, yet he lives so simply. He helps others without asking for anything in return. And I treated him like dirt. She felt the weight of her mistake pressing harder and harder. Later, as the sun began to set, Anna saw him again in the park. He was sitting on a bench, feeding birds. His simple jacket and worn-out shoes looked so ordinary, but now Anna knew the truth hidden behind them. She wanted to walk up to him, to apologize, but her legs refused to move. Fear and shame tied her down. What could she say? How could she face him after the cruel words she had thrown at him? And then, she remembered something the men had said: "He tests people to see who they truly are." Her stomach tightened. Was he testing me? Did I fail his test? That night, Anna cried silently in her bed. Her heart was heavy with regret. She thought about her own life, how she had judged people by their looks, by their money, by their status. She remembered every moment she had insulted him. But despite all that, he had never raised his voice. He had never looked at her with anger. Instead, he had looked at her with kindness, even when she did not deserve it. It was unbearable. The next morning, Anna made a decision. She could not hide anymore. She needed to find him, to look into his eyes, and to say the words that had been stuck inside her heart since the day she learned the truth. But as she prepared herself, another thought entered her mind. What if it is already too late? What if he has already judged me, already decided I am not worthy? The fear was real, but so was the need for forgiveness. That day, Anna searched for him everywhere, the cafe, the bookstore, the park. But he was nowhere to be found. The city felt larger, emptier without him. As she stood by the fountain where they had last spoken, a soft breeze brushed her face. She closed her eyes, and in her heart, she whispered, "Please, give me one more chance." She did not know that her life was about to take another turn, one that involved not just the stranger, but also someone even more powerful in his life. Because soon, Anna would come face to face with the one person who had already chosen her, without her knowing. The morning sun painted the sky with soft gold, but for Anna, the light felt heavy. Her heart was still restless. She had spent days searching for the stranger but found nothing. It was as if he had vanished from the city. One evening, while walking home, Anna's path led her through an old neighborhood filled with quiet streets and large houses. She paused in front of a tall gate with marble walls. Something about the place drew her closer. The house looked elegant, powerful, the kind that belonged to people with wealth beyond imagination. As she stood there staring, a gentle voice broke her thoughts. "Are you looking for someone, dear?" Anna turned quickly. An older woman stood by the gate, dressed with grace but without show. Her silver hair glowed under the streetlight, and her eyes carried wisdom mixed with warmth. Anna stammered, I was just passing by." The woman smiled softly. "Sometimes people don't pass by without reason. Come inside for a cup of tea." Anna hesitated. She should have refused, but something about the woman's presence felt safe. Before she could think further, she found herself stepping through the gate. Inside, the house was filled with calm elegance. Paintings on the wall, books neatly arranged, flowers blooming in crystal vases, it all spoke of quiet wealth. The woman guided Anna to a room with tall windows. They sat at a round table, and a maid served tea. The air smelled of roses and fresh bread. For a while, they sipped in silence. Then the woman studied Anna carefully. "You look troubled," she said gently. "A heavy heart cannot be hidden, even behind brave eyes." Anna lowered her gaze. No stranger had ever read her so easily. The woman leaned forward. "Tell me, child, what do you think makes a person truly rich?" The question struck Anna. Her mind went blank. After a pause, she whispered, "Money. At least that's what I always thought." The woman's smile was kind but firm. "Money buys comfort, yes. But true richness is measured by the heart. Many people with millions are poor in spirit, and many with nothing are wealthy in kindness." Anna froze. Those words, they reminded her of someone. Her chest tightened. "You sound like a man I once met," she said quietly. The woman's eyes glimmered. "Tell me about him." Slowly, Anna poured out everything. The cafe encounter, her harsh words, his calm smile, the time she saw him helping strangers, the rumors she overheard. Every memory spilled out like water breaking from a dam. When she finished, her hands trembled. "I insulted him. I judged him without knowing. And now I regret every word." The woman reached across the table and touched Anna's hand gently. "Sometimes life gives us lessons through people. The question is, do we learn, or do we remain blind?" Anna's throat tightened. She could barely hold her tears. "I want to learn. I want to make it right. But I fear it's too late." The woman gave a soft laugh. "Maybe it is not too late. Maybe everything has just begun." Anna looked at her in confusion. "What do you mean?" The woman leaned back, her gaze calm yet sharp. "The man you speak of, he is my son." Anna's heart stopped. The room fell silent. She gripped the edge of the chair. "Your son?" The woman nodded gently. "Yes, my son. He is not just a man of wealth, but a man of heart. And I have been watching you too, child." Anna's breath caught. "Watching me?" The woman's voice softened. "I wanted to see how you treated someone when you believed he had nothing. My son has chosen to live simply, to hide his riches, to find people who can see beyond money. Many pretend to care when they see wealth. But true hearts reveal themselves in ordinary moments." Anna's tears spilled at last. Her chest ached with guilt. "Then I failed. I was cruel to him. I saw nothing but my own frustration. Why would you even look at me after that?" The woman squeezed her hand gently. "Because I saw something else in you too. I saw a girl who made mistakes but could feel regret. A girl with pride, yes, but also with a heart that is learning. Perfection does not move me. Growth does." Anna sat frozen, her mind spinning. She had never expected this twist, never imagined the stranger's mother would appear in front of her, speaking with such calm authority. The woman stood and walked to the window, gazing at the night sky. "I have chosen many people to test, but very few have reached this point. Do you know why you are here, Anna?" Anna shook her head, wiping her tears. The woman turned, her eyes glowing with certainty. "Because I believe you are meant to be part of my son's story." Anna gasped, unable to find words. Her heart pounded. Was this real? Could it be possible that the very family she had insulted was now offering her something greater than she ever dreamed? Before she could speak, the woman said softly, "The choice will not be mine. It will be his. But remember this, opportunity comes like a quiet knock. If you ignore it, it may never return." Anna sat frozen, her soul trembling with fear and hope. For the first time, she realized that her story with the stranger was far from over. In fact, it had only reached its most dangerous crossroad. The next morning felt different for Anna. She woke with a mix of fear and hope swirling in her chest. Her meeting with the mysterious woman, the mother of the stranger, still replayed in her mind like a dream. She could not believe it. The man she had insulted so cruelly was not only a millionaire but also someone whose mother had been quietly observing her. And now, the mother had said she was meant to be part of his story. But how could that be? Anna was nobody. Just a young woman struggling to pay rent, searching for a job, trying to survive. Still, her heart told her she needed to see him again. She needed to face the man she had wronged. That evening, Anna received a message from an unknown number. "Meet me at the old cafe tomorrow, 6 p.m. Don't be late." Her hands trembled as she read it. She didn't need to ask who had sent it. She already knew. The next day, as the clock ticked toward 6, Anna's nerves grew heavier. She wore her plainest dress, afraid to look like she was trying too hard. Her palms were sweaty, her throat dry. When she entered the cafe, memories rushed back, the smell of coffee, the warm lights, and that very table by the window where everything had begun. And there he was. The stranger. He sat exactly where he had sat on that first day, sipping his coffee calmly. But this time, Anna knew the truth behind his quiet eyes. Anna walked slowly to the table. Her legs felt weak, her voice stuck in her throat. She wanted to run away, but she forced herself to sit down across from him. For a long moment, silence filled the air. Finally, Anna whispered, I need to say something." He looked at her, calm as ever. "Go ahead." Her eyes burned with tears. "I'm sorry. For everything I said to you. For the way I treated you. I was angry at my life, but I took it out on you. I judged you without knowing who you really were. And now I feel ashamed." The man listened quietly, his face unreadable. "I know who you are," Anna continued, her voice shaking. "I know the truth now. You're not just a stranger. You're someone far greater than I ever imagined." He finally spoke, his tone steady but gentle. "And does knowing my wealth change your heart?" Anna's chest tightened. She shook her head quickly. "No. If anything, it makes me feel worse. Because I should have treated you kindly even when I thought you had nothing. I failed. But I want you to know I regret it." At that moment, the cafe door opened. The older woman, the mother, entered with her graceful steps. She joined them at the table, her eyes warm yet serious. "My son," she said softly, "I believe it is time." Anna lowered her gaze, too ashamed to look at either of them. The mother turned to Anna. "You see, my dear, when I told you that I had been watching, I meant every word. I wanted someone for my son who could grow, who could learn from mistakes. Life does not need perfect people. It needs people with hearts willing to change." Anna's tears slipped silently down her cheeks. The mother placed a hand on Anna's shoulder. "You showed pride, yes. But you also showed remorse. That is rare." The stranger finally spoke again, his voice softer than before. "I never wanted you to feel small, Anna. That day in the cafe, when you insulted me, I did not see cruelty. I saw pain. I saw someone fighting with her own struggles." Anna looked up, shocked. You didn't hate me." He shook his head. "No. I understood. Sometimes the world is unkind, and we pass that unkindness to others. But it doesn't mean we are bad, it means we are human." Anna's heart broke open at his words. She had expected anger, rejection, even humiliation. But instead, she found forgiveness. The mother's voice was firm now. "Anna, you must understand. My son has everything money can buy. But he cannot buy truth. That is why he hides his wealth. He waits to see who values the heart, not the fortune. Anna whispered, and I failed his test. The mother smiled faintly. Perhaps you failed the first part. But the test is not over. What matters is what you choose now. The stranger leaned closer, his calm eyes meeting hers. The question is simple, Anna. Will you keep judging people by what they wear, what they own, or will you learn to see deeper? Anna wiped her tears. For the first time in years, she felt hope rising inside her. The cafe grew quiet. Time seemed to stop. The mother watched silently, waiting. The stranger's eyes held kindness and patience. Anna took a shaky breath. I want to change. I want to see people for who they are, not what they have. I want to be better than the person you first met. The stranger nodded slowly. Then perhaps the story is only beginning. For Anna, it felt like a new door had opened. She didn't know what awaited her beyond it, but one thing was clear, the man she had once insulted was no ordinary stranger. He was someone whose heart carried more wealth than his fortune ever could. And for the first time, she wondered if her destiny was tied to his. But the final decision was still to come. The cafe grew quieter as evening shadows stretched across the floor. The stranger sat calmly, the mother watched silently, and Anna felt the weight of her entire life pressing down on her shoulders. She had apologized. She had confessed her mistakes. But now came the hardest part, the choice. The mother's words echoed in her head, the test is not over. What matters is what you choose now. Anna's hands trembled around her cup. She could not look either of them in the eyes. She whispered softly, why me? Out of all the people in this world, why did you even notice me? The mother's voice was calm but firm. Because when people make mistakes, their next step shows who they truly are. You fell, Anna, but you stood up again. That is what caught my eye. The stranger leaned forward, his voice steady. And now, you must decide. Do you want to keep running from your mistakes, or do you want to face them and grow? Anna's heart raced. The room felt smaller, the air heavier. She remembered her old life, job rejections, unpaid bills, the constant feeling of being invisible. And then she remembered this man, the stranger she had insulted, the same man who kept showing kindness even when she gave him none. Tears blurred her vision. I don't deserve your forgiveness, she said, her voice breaking. The stranger gave a small smile. Forgiveness is not something we earn. It is something we give. And I have already given it. Anna's tears fell harder. The gentleness in his words cut deeper than any anger ever could. The mother stood and walked toward the window. She looked out at the city lights, her back straight and strong. Anna, I chose you not because you are perfect, but because you are real. I saw your pride, your anger, but also your regret. A person who cannot admit their mistakes will never grow. But you can. She turned and faced Anna again. So here we are. The question is simple, will you walk away, or will you choose to stay and see where this path leads? Anna's heart pounded so loudly she thought they could hear it. She wanted to stay. Every part of her longed to know this man better, to understand the mystery in his eyes, to step into the story that fate had written for her. But fear gripped her just as tightly. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail again? What if they regret choosing me? The silence stretched. Even the ticking of the cafe clock felt louder. The stranger finally broke it. His words were gentle but carried weight. I will not force you, Anna. This choice is yours alone. I can wait. But life will not wait forever. Anna looked up at him. His calm eyes held no judgment, only patience. He was offering her something she had never received before, freedom to choose her future. Her lips trembled. She wanted to speak, to answer, but no words came. The mother stepped closer, her voice softer now. Child, sometimes life changes in one decision. One yes or one no can shape destiny. Do not let fear hold your tongue. Anna pressed a hand to her chest, trying to calm her racing heart. She opened her mouth to speak. But then, she froze. In that moment, the cafe lights flickered. The world outside seemed to blur. Everything slowed, as if time itself was holding its breath, waiting for her answer. Anna's eyes filled with tears. She finally whispered, "I." The scene cut to black. The screen fades before her full answer is revealed. The audience is left in silence, holding their breath, wondering. Did Anna choose to stay? Did she accept the stranger and the future his mother offered? Or did fear take over, making her walk away from the greatest chance of her life? The truth remained hidden, sealed in suspense. Because sometimes, the most powerful part of a story is the choice left untold.